Joe, this is what we did was that Alarm.com has an app uh, for dealers and salespeople to be able to use in the field that allows them to to really demo the system. And what it does is that it's going to create some consistency. So with a little bit of practice on the salespeople side and maybe even some guidance on the sales management side, it allows them to kind of construct a script, if you will, of how they want it to be presented to the customer. The other nice thing about it is that once this is downloaded to a tablet or an iPad, and I'll say that again, to a tablet or an iPad, it's not going to work on a smartphone, just too much content that goes into that. But once it's downloaded, it'll actually live on the device. So then the salesperson doesn't have to worry about connectivity when they're in front of a customer. So they don't have to worry about getting on Wi-Fi. They don't have to worry about cell coverage or anything else that they might have to use when they're doing a virtual demo, which I think some of the dealers actually use now. I think ADT has that set up for them, or whether a dealer sets up their own. We just kind of take that that process out, so they can actually just focus on being able to open up the app and talk to the customer about the actual product. So what we're looking at right now is the actual home screen. So when this is downloaded, they're going to come up with they're going to have these three screens that come up. The business solution, the home solution, which is on the right side, will go into that, and then also the solutions and hardware tab there. So I'm going to actually click on that, the middle one, the solutions and hardware, and what it does is that it's going to take them into a screen that's going to give them some talking points. Again, I recommend that dealers, if they're going to use this, that they have some practice with it, they get some exposure before they open it up. But it'll literally give them talking points that they can present to a customer, really the whole smart home solution. So, as it says across the top there, and even an explanation about, what ADT is trying to accomplish here. There's 6 buttons across the bottom there, starting with solutions, ending with the app. And again, depending on how the dealer wants to script it, they can go right through that. So I'm going to touch on solutions, which is the far left side, and it's going to take us into another screen there. It's going to give them a snapshot of the app on the right side, and then obviously it starts to talk about the ADT smart solutions. So I can take my finger and I can actually scroll on that left side the different categories, or different product categories, if you will, different parts of the technology that they're going to go through it. And just by clicking on any one of those, I can actually start talking about, let's just say smart security. So I'll touch on smart security, and it just a little bit of a lag there. It starts talking about smart security. Are you seeing a smart security, a white screen that came up kind of with a family picture?
It just went away. There it is.
I apologize.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. There was a little bit of a lag there. So there's a screen there. Again, just kind of gives them some talking points, some things that they can go through with the customer regarding smart security. Tapping anywhere outside of that box will allow them to kind of go back. And now there's a couple of different things that they could do. They can continue to go down this list, and I apologize. It's kind of coming across a little weird. It must just be something in the connection with the broadband there. And again, they can kind of scroll up. There's also a little bit of a house footprint down here that allows them to talk about some of the different technologies. So I'm going to touch on the window sensor, which is on the far right there. And I'm getting a box here, but you're not seeing it. There it is. So it'll allow for them to kind of come up and talk about different aspects of the system that they might be going through. So a window sensor, I'll touch on the far left, the doorbell there. If I touch on that, it's not coming up very well. See if I can do it again. There you go. And then again, just kind of different points. Maybe the customer's already expressed some concerns or points of interest that they have, so they can actually kind of go through and talk to them about it. So again, I'm just going to put my finger on the screen, and I'm just going to scroll, not there, I'm going to scroll back down into the smart solutions there. Sorry about that. What's nice is that as they go through, like as we talked about smart security, they can actually scroll. And again, I'm just using my finger and I'm pulling the screen from right to left. Now they can kind of go in and start talking about more aspects of it, being able to get into what the security panel, I'm just scrolling up when I do that. There's a magnifying glass there, so if the customer wants to have a little bit of a better view of what the actual 7-inch panel is going to look like, I just touch on the magnifying glass and it kind of blows that up. So again, they can talk about what the different security panels, different parts of the security panels are, continuing to just pull up from bottom to top, different security sensors. Joe, there's going to be an update coming on this. Right now, if I tap on like the heat detector, it just kind of gives me kind of a closed-in screen. They're actually going to feed more information from Residio once that information becomes available from them, so that we can actually put that. So it'll take you into what a heat detector looks like, what a water sensor, video, glass detector. I think we had talked about that before, so I wanted to make sure that I covered that this time when we got into it. So again, just scrolling up and down, scrolling from right to left with my finger. Now it takes them into video monitoring. The app is on the right side of the screen. More talking points there, and then some actual pictures of what the equipment's going to look like. If a customer wants to know what's going to be what they can expect from the actual.
Okay.
Again, it's kind of the same business, but we're just going to focus on residential here. And then as I continue to scroll, so it just kind of takes them through the different aspects. If they want to look at thermostats, if they're interested in looking at lights, what a salesperson can kind of walk them through what all that's going to look like there. Entry control, they can talk, and then that way they can talk about Z-Wave locks, and then also garage door control.
Okay.
So kind of going back, so that's going to be the solutions, kind of the written part of, again, depending on how it's scripted. If a dealer wants to walk through it, there's information that they can talk to the customer about. Really, the sizzle of this app is to be able to go in and actually show the customer what it's going to look like. So I'm going to tap on the Smart Home Solutions, the blue button on the right side there, and so. An interactive. So this is kind of the sizzle of the app here, Joe. And what's nice about it is that even when a dealer may have the virtual demo on their phone, it's still kind of hard for a customer to get a picture of actually what's going to go on. Now they can kind of get the customer involved with, hey, this is your house in the background here, and I'm going to show you how the app is going to interact with your house. So a couple of different things right from the home screen. This is what the app looks like when the customer pulls that up. They immediately get a system status, so they can see right now that their ADT system is disarmed. If they want to change that state, they just tap on it. So I'm just going to touch on disarmed there, that's underlined, and it's going to bring me to a screen that's going to give me options: arm to stay, arm away. It's going to show me some different aspects of the system in regards to sensor status. Different options there with silent arming and no entry delay. That does not work on this interactive app, but I would suggest to dealers that they at least study up and understand what silent arming is and what no entry delay is. But what's nice about it is that from here, the dealer can demonstrate and they can touch on arm away. And what's nice is that it's going to show them, it's going to take them into the home, show them the ADT panel is being armed, the door sensor is arming, the window sensor is arming, and then it takes them back outside of the house, right? And now they can show the whole house, say that the whole house is protected. Just that simple.
Cool.
Hit disarm again, takes them back in, shows them the ADT panel is disarmed. Good to open the door, and good to open the window, and then back outside of the house to the app. Fun stuff. So to get back out to the interactive part, in the upper left-hand corner of the app, there's an arrow there. They can tap on that, takes them back to the home screen. So there's a couple of ways. The way to continue the interaction here, Joe, is that on the bottom of that app screen there, right above the iPhone button, if you will, there's kind of a camel hump there. The dealer can just put his finger on there and pull that up, and now it gives them access to other parts of the smart home solution. So they can go into scenes from there. They, obviously have views of their thermostats, garage door, front door, all of that kind of fun stuff, and then even some weather down there. So they can kind of walk the customer through that depending on how comfortable they are doing that. But let's just say, the customer is curious about how the lights work. So now just by tapping on the lights icon in the app itself, it actually takes them back to that, gives them the list of their house. It's going to take them to the, gives them a list of the devices in the house, and then, obviously the house is still in the background. So if they want to talk about being able to control lighting, let's just say they want to turn off the living room lights, they can tap on the button on the living room light, and then the house behind them actually goes dark in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the kitchen, same thing with the bedroom, same thing with the outside light. So it actually shows them, again, some interaction there, some live interaction that they could go through with the customer on that. Just by hitting the X, everything comes back on, and it's kind of reset back out to where they were. If the customer has questions about, locks, well, we can show them that right now, just by tapping on the lock, the front door is unlocked. You have a button there that'll allow you to lock it. The app shows that it's locked, and it'll take them right to the Z-Wave lock at the front door and show them that it's being locked. So a lot of different things that they can do here. The other thing, and I'm just gonna push that down. The other thing that's nice, Joe, is that in the app itself, the customer has access to all of that one-on-one just by tapping on that little, and I'll go back out, the little, I call it the hamburger icon that's in the upper left-hand corner of the app.
Yep.
By touching on that, they can go in, and they have the same access as they do as pulling that up. Just, they don't get that status. They're going to actually go into there. For this demo, those buttons don't work. We're really trying to, make sure that the dealers are kind of focusing on this. This was something that kind of ADT thought was really important as part of the as part of the app itself. So, and again, they can go into scenes, they can adjust thermostats, they can do all of that right from here. Right there in the center is where it says front door. There's a video there. There's a video button there. They can push that play button, and now it's actually going to give them 3 options to look at their video cameras that they have. So again, I'm going to hit the play button on the front door, which is the top camera, and it's going to show them what the the ADT cameras on the outside above the door, and it's going to show the the daughter and her friend coming home from cheerleading practice. They're going to come in, and I believe it even shows some demo about them arming the system. No, not on this one, on the other demo. But if a customer has a pet that they want to keep an eye on, there's an indoor camera that the dealer can show, and it gives them a live video of what their dog's doing. He's up on the couch with his toy, just wondering what's going on.
Right.
And same kind of a demo with the doorbell camera as well, to be able to see who's at the front door, and also giving them kind of the feel of being at the front door, what the camera is going to look like there.
Cool.
The other nice thing, Joe, is that there's actually some talking points, some examples to how the smart home, how the customer is going to interact with a smart home. So down in the bottom right there, there's 3 icons there. There's a home, there's the refresh, the examples. I'm just going to touch on the examples button there, and there's actually three options there. And again, this takes a little bit of practice, but what's nice about it is that if a dealer does practice, they can actually take a customer through any one of these scenarios that they want to. So, let's just say, somebody, the customer, customer is curious about how the doorbell is going to work and how it's going to function. I'm just going to tap on that doorbell. Did the video work last time we did this? It did it.
I don't remember, Warren.
I don't think it did. I just, as soon as I hit the button, I was like, oh, you know what? It never loaded. So, Joe, I'm going to go through I'm going to just kind of talk through the examples. The nice thing about it is that those examples down there allow talking points. So, for like leaving the home, and I'm just going to do it on my end because I can see it here. What happens is that it takes the customer through. So a dealer can say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you're leaving your home. I'm going to get out of this screen because it doesn't make any sense to do that. You're leaving your home. The garage door is open. You're going to back out of your driveway. And so the video, it's actually showing that video of them backing out of the driveway and kind of driving down the street. You drive outside of a geofence. There's a geofence that we have, and it shows the little minivan driving outside of it. From there, they get a notification on the app that they've left the geofence and they've left their house unarmed. From that notification, the dealer can tell them, you're just going to put armed system. From there, it takes them back to the house. It shows the system being armed, the doors and windows being armed, kind of like it did before. It's going to show them adjusting the lights according to how they have it set up, adjusting the thermostat for energy management, return on investment there. It's going to show them closing the garage door and then the system being armed from there. So it's kind of nice that it gives that example, really kind of a living example, if you will, of how the home is going to interact with the customer, and then the customer is going to interact with the home as well.
Cool.
And I'm just going to. Okay. I was just curious on if the scenes were set up on that. So I can kind of walk you through the scenes, Joe, and maybe you can even edit the pause here out if you want to. But just to kind of give you a feel of what a scene looks like, in the away mode. So arming the system to the away mode, you're going to see the panel arm, the thermostat's going to adjust. You're going to lock any of the Z-Wave locks that you have set up. You're going to close the garage door if it was left open, and then you're going to turn off the lights that you want to have turn off. Kind of the same thing in the examples, but it gives you a little bit more of a feel of the geofence and being able to do it. But it's kind of that same feel as what you have by actually pushing the scenes button. So a little more automation in the example side than what you're seeing there. But that's that's really the app and how this demo works for salespeople